This spring, when Apple asks you to update your iPhone, do it. Do it right away. Because the days of your apps tracking your location, looking through your messages, and scanning your pictures are over.
This is Q&A, but Canadian.
So you probably heard in the news that Facebook and Apple are going at it.
Facebook is throwing down the gauntlet in its battle with Apple over the privacy option that Apple plans to give consumers that would dramatically limit the targeting of ads.
Recently, Apple has taken a really hard stance in favor of privacy, and this new update for iOS devices has got Facebook going like, oh hell no! Think about it this way, Apple is a $2 trillion company. Facebook, not quite there, but is worth $800 billion. It's very obvious to see how Apple became a $2 trillion company. They're selling literally all these devices for minimum $2,000. So it makes sense how they make their money. But Facebook is free. So how could Facebook be worth $800 billion if its service is free? So you might think that it's just advertising dollars, but it's way more than that. Facebook's value is from its ability to harvest data from every single one of its users. Facebook is able to create these incredibly detailed user profiles of every single one of its Facebook, Instagram, or WhatsApp users. It can manipulate your emotions by the content it shows you. It can tell how you're feeling just by how you react to the content you're seeing. Not only that, but when you're not even on Facebook or Instagram or WhatsApp, it's still tracking your activity on your phone or your computer to see what you're looking up and doing elsewhere. And then it builds an even more detailed profile from all of that extra data. And what it does with all of that data is figure out which product at which exact moment will make you feel better, be happier, or solve your problem. So now Apple is announcing its app tracking transparency update, and this is really gonna screw over Facebook's ability to make money. So once this update is installed in your phone, every time you update an app and open it for the first time, it's gonna ask you if you want this app to track whatever information it usually tracks. So you'll see a prompt that says this app wants to scan your photos. Do you want them to do this? Yes or no? Or it'll ask you, do you want this app to read your messages? Do you want this app to be allowed to track your location? You know, creepy stuff like that. So all of this stuff is optional. Obviously, you can opt to allow them to track you, but Apple knows most people will opt not to be tracked for obvious reasons. So first, let's talk about how apps track you. So every single iPhone has an IDFA, which is short for identifier for advertisers. So how it works is, say you're on IG and you see a Foot Locker ad for a pair of sneakers. You click on the ad, it takes you to the Foot Locker website on Google Chrome, and then you buy the sneakers. Later, Google Chrome and Instagram will communicate with each other and say, this IDFA was on Instagram looking at this ad for this sneakers. They clicked on it, they went to the website, they bought the pair of sneakers, so the ad worked. And they know it worked because the IDFA linked the two data points together. So with the new Apple update, it's gonna break that link between Instagram and Google Chrome. And it works both ways. So Instagram won't be able to watch you on Chrome and look at your search history and then use that information to target ads to you when you're on Instagram. And Instagram also won't be able to track you when you're using Google Maps or you're in Waze or you're in an Uber, and it won't be able to use your location to give you targeted ads for restaurants nearby you. So the only difference for an iPhone user after this update is that you won't be tracked to later be manipulated into buying something. But for a company like Facebook that has this advertising network, it means that their ads are going to be much less targeted. When Facebook doesn't have your location data or your search history or what you and your friends are talking about in your group chat, their information data set on you shrinks. And the less they know about you, the less they can target ads to you that are very specific to your interests. So Facebook is big mad about this. Ever since Tim Cook announced this update, they've gone on this public relations frenzy trying to paint Apple as this tyrannical monopoly. They've taken out full page ads in the New York Times, the Washington Post, and the Wall Street Journal, trying to say that they're standing up for the small businesses against Apple, who's overreaching. Just think about for a second who reads these newspapers. So one, there's definitely people on both sides of the political spectrum that read these newspapers, but also there are people that read newspapers. Like, they don't get their news from Twitter, which means that they're probably informed about a lot of the privacy violations that companies like Facebook have been perpetrating for the past couple of years. So the readers of these magazines are probably pro-privacy and don't want to be tracked. So Facebook is trying to switch the narrative and act like this isn't about privacy, it's about small businesses. Facebook, let's be real, this is not about small businesses. Obviously, it's not helpful when you can't see which ads are leading to sales, but like Tim Cook said, advertising has existed for decades without this hyper precision on user interests, and they can go back to that. That's not a problem. What this is really about is Facebook not being as effective as they used to be. What this is really about for Facebook is having someone else dictate how they run their business. But let's not turn a blind eye to Apple. Okay, because they invented these IDFAs in the first place. They've been allowing apps to track people like this for this long. So I have my own little theory for why Apple is moving away from IDFAs and towards privacy. So obviously IDFAs were very helpful to Apple when it first launched its iPhone. If you can just think back to the very first iPhones, like people weren't really sure how to use them. People weren't really sure how to use all of their capabilities. The internet on phones is still kind of new. And the idea of an app on your phone was also very new. So having an IDFA was a way for Apple to approach companies and be like, hey, make an app, let us put it in our app store and you can track people. This is the benefit for you if you get on board and create an app. Now, it's no secret that Apple has been out innovated by Samsung. I'll give them that much. I will not buy a Samsung phone, but I understand the camera is better. So Apple did rely heavily on its brand image of innovation and creativity. Now innovation part's sort of fading away. So now they're picking up this privacy bit because consumers are becoming more aware of how they're being tracked. Also, it's very easy for a company like Apple to pick up this privacy mantle. Like, they just make devices. They don't make their money off of advertising. If anything, they sell their devices and then sell you subscription service to like Apple News or Apple Music. Maybe if they did sell some ad space, their phones wouldn't be so expensive, but the thing is, Apple knows that its customers have extremely high brand loyalty. You buy one Apple device and it's very hard to not buy another. And once you buy another, you keep buying more because they work so perfectly together. Basically, what I'm trying to say is Apple being the champion for privacy works in their favor. So in some ways, it's like, thank you, Apple, for finally standing up to these companies that harvest all of our data, especially since most of the apps that are tracking us are on these devices. It's a good fit. But also, where are our governments? Like, we've known this is a problem for a long time and they've been slow moving, and it's really a shame that a company has to step in and do their job to protect their citizens. And as much as Facebook wants to pick a fight with Apple in public, at the end of the day, it still needs Apple devices. It still needs Apple users. And Apple needs Facebook. Apple devices are much less useful without Instagram and WhatsApp. Maybe not Facebook. At the end of the day, Apple and Facebook need each other. So this whole feud is just Facebook trying to not get demolished in the public eye. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Like, are you gonna let apps track you so that you do get relevant ads? Do you wanna support small businesses by being tracked? Or are you gonna take your privacy and the less relevant ads that it comes with? So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and follow me on TikTok at You Know It's Me Cheyenne. And thanks for watching.